Sonic Beats.
Hey, I'm Beau. Welcome to Bear Island, the island where we lay everything bare. As always, stranded here with my co-pilot Peyton. Peyton, how you doing today?
I'm having a great day, Beau. How are you doing today?
Actually, I'm having call me lemony schnickets, man. The entire day, it's been a calamity of error after error. But I'm hoping to have some decent convo and turning this into something very positive.
Yes, yeah, I'm here for. But what's been going on today? It's got you particularly stirred up.
No, it's one of the most boring, minute, bad things to happen, and it's just continuous. It's just like nothing is going as I had scheduled it, and it was just, went to a place, they didn't have what I was looking for, so I went to another place. I'm not getting into it. Let's talk.
Okay.
Let's talk. It's just one of them days.
Yep. Totally understand. What do you got for us today, Beau? I know you're really eager to talk about something today.
Well, actually, it's time for a nerd moment, and I have been playing the new Zelda game,
Yes.
Tears of the Kingdom, and it is a time sink of the biggest degree. I told my wife, I was like, I can't dedicate any time to this right now. Like, I have a lot going on, and this is just bad for me because I know it's going to happen. Well, my son really wanted it, and school's ending, and she told him we would get the game. And
no.
So, at first it turned into, hey, he needed my help with a couple things. And then it just became like, all right, well, I'm going to start my own game. I'm not going to dedicate too much time into it.
Yeah.
Time sink. and not to like, you can go quickly in the game if you want to, but there is, oh man, a whole lot of fun stuff that can keep it going for a long time too. So it's really hard to run out of stuff to do.
How many hours have you put in?
No, Peyton, I'm not going to tell you how many.
No?
It's a lot of hours, and I find myself. I put my son to bed, and he's addicted, and I try to I'm like, hey, let's go outside, let's do this, let's do that. I put him to bed at night, and I look at my wife, and I said, hey, you seem tired. Why don't you go ahead and go to bed without me? And then I sit down, get comfy, and dump way too much time into it.
That's beautiful, Beau. That's what it's all about, man. The luxury to be able to do that. That's amazing.
No, the lack of sleep is not a luxury, but it is addicting. So, it's.
I mean, it's a big map, right? I mean, does this rival? What was the game that just came out last year? Massive game.
Are you talking about Game of the Year?
Everyone was playing it. Yeah.
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Is it as big as Elden Ring?
Oh, they're both super massive. I would say while they're both a time sink, I would say that there's probably more you can do with this one, just because there's in the game, it's not spoilers or anything, but you essentially have the ability to use things to create, all sorts of cool stuff. And, like planes. And I know some people have made mechs, like Gundams, like they've got in and they basically create warships and just absolutely insane things that I think the developers were like, yeah, no, that's awesome, but like stuff that they couldn't have possibly thought about. I mean, if you go on the internet, you can see some people making some crazy stuff. Absolutely
well, I think that's what's
insane.
amazing is the sheer size of a game like that. Like that is an adventure action game, and people can sink 10 plus hours into building a massive warship. Or like I saw a video on Twitter of someone building a monkey with like large private parts.
Well, dude, it was funny.
It's just wow.
It was funny. I
diverse
was
game.
actually. My wife had a family get together like a couple weeks ago, and well, like when it originally came out, and they asked if my son had a Switch, and I was just like, yeah, no, he has a Switch. He likes it quite a bit, not knowing that it's actually my Switch. It's my Switch. And they're like, oh, has he played that new Zelda game? And I was like, yeah, we actually just got it to him not that long ago. And
I'm imagining,
and they're all like, oh man, I imagine his life is just absolutely soaked into that, and I can't believe he's gonna have all summer to play that. And I go, his life. I was like, I don't think he's the one you need to worry about so much.
The way I imagine this is Max telling everybody how cool his Switch is, and he's like showing everybody how it works. And then slowly it's just like you creeping into the shot, and you're just like sneaking closer, and you start talking over him, and then it becomes you exclusively talking about the Switch
no.
and how awesome it is. I don't know. I feel like that
100% not. No, it's funny because like I try to keep it real chill. But it was one of those things that he can get quite involved into it, but what ends up happening is I end up making deals with him, like, like, hey, buddy, I'll get you through that temple if after I'm done, I get to play my game.
So after you finish playing for him, you get to play more.
A little bit.
Deal.
No,
I mean,
deal, hey, man.
It's the art of negotiation right there.
He's quite good at it, but there's times he gets stuck. And do I use that as leverage to play my own game? 100%. That's good parenting right there.
But I mean, if it speaks to how good he is and how bad I am, he beats the hell out of me in every video game I ever played.
Oh yeah, no, you're hot trash.
Oh
like,
no,
you're terrible.
He's like, he does stuff that I don't. I mean, like you're gifted at video
thank you.
games.
I appreciate that.
But he's like, I mean, he's still, and he can't touch you. Let me just make that clear.
I never said he.
But Max, he at that age, like the way he just demolishes me in Super Smash Bros. Is just absurd.
Well,
the game meant for button mashing.
Well,
and I can't figure it out.
It's funny because
I can't figure it out, man.
I remember saying it to him because him being a young guy, sometimes he it takes practice and time and all of this stuff. He's going to be really good one day, and it's funny because one time we were playing with him and his sister and myself, and I had told him because he was complaining about losing to me. And I just looked at him and I said, "Get good, scrub." And the hurt in his eyes. And then I immediately, as a good father, like I like to think that I'm not terrible. And he goes, "What?" And I go, "Oh, I'm sorry. That's not what I meant, buddy." I go, "Actually, what I meant is get good, scrub." and the best part about it is now that's in his vernacular.
Yeah, he said it to me a week ago.
He said it to you, and I was like, "Yeah, tell that scrub he need to get good."
He got me with that one too, because I had zero.
Oh
hits,
no, there was
kills.
There was hurt in your eyes. You saw your tiny nephew, and he demolished you.
Oh no, it was embarrassing. But I want to know more about this Zelda game because I've been thinking about getting a Switch.
You should get
I've been
Switch.
seriously considering it. It looks great. Is there a plot to the Zelda game?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Is there a story?
Yeah. There's a story, and that's the thing is you can go through the story pretty quickly.
Really? With how
yeah.
big that game is?
Yes, like if you do the story, just like with most modern games nowadays, like they have a bunch of stuff you can do on the side, but if you wanted to, like, and you just stuck with the storyline. It would still be. I mean, you would still put in some hours, but like it would. I mean, you would go pretty quickly. It's just the problem with it is that you're doing all of this stuff and other things pop up.
No, I totally.
It was really good, really
that.
fun stuff.
No, I can completely.
And not to mention,
with that.
you just can't help it. You see these, this machinery laying around, and sometimes you're bored and you're just like, you know what, I'm really mess around and see if this stuff works.
Just goof off a little bit.
Yep, 100%.
That's fantastic. So what's been your favorite mechanic of the game so far?
That's a good question. Like, I like the new mechanics, like they're fun. But it's
old or new favorite.
Well, it's weird because the Zelda games have changed a lot over the years, and when I first started playing it, like with the original NES version and then the Super NES version, Link to the Past, it's just there's like swordsman gameplay, and you get tools and things to work with, and that's always fun. And I'm not like a huge I love to figure out puzzles, but there's some really catchy fun things that you're doing, but like boss fights and things like that are really fun. Flying around in the game and creating machines and cool stuff to fly around is pretty awesome.
Well, see, I think that's one thing holding me back from buying this game. And I think a lot of people could possibly relate to this. Possibly.
Yeah.
I hate the idea of watching my hits go down on my sword, or the idea of having limited capabilities with your weapon. I'm a lazy gamer, man. I am a lazy gamer. I'm not afraid to admit. That's why God of War is one of my favorite games, because the new ones. The new ones. I haven't played the older ones, so no hate against the older ones. But the new ones, it's just enough RPG to immerse me, but it's not to a ridiculous extent. Like, you don't have to replace your armor if it gets damaged, or and that's perfect for me. So I'm a little put off by that.
And that's the thing, is the only thing you have to replace is your hand weapon, as in your sword or your axe or your spear, your weapon, and your bows. But they're so plentiful and around that you're always picking up new stuff, and there's a lot of fun in finding things because they have a mechanic where you create your own weapons, in a sense. Like, you start off with one, and then you pick up like a piece of a robot's head, and it looks kind of like a sword, and it makes the sword stronger and hit harder.
There's robots in Zelda?
Yeah.
The things you learn, folks. The things you learn.
Yeah, no, it's funky, and speaking of good mechanics, that's really fun. Just finding stuff and seeing trying it out. They have, because again, it's technology is basically, it's called lost technology. It's from olden times, and you can pick up literally a rocket and attach it to your shield, and it'll you'll fly up high in the air with the rocket, and then you can sail down. And
Very Wheel of Time. Very Wheel of Time.
Anyway, don't go. Hold on.
No, we won't go that far.
We won't go into that.
30 seconds.
But no, there's just fun stuff. There's always things that you can try and do, and ways that you can play that are different than other ways that you've played. So it's actually, and that's the thing, is all of this stuff is so engrossing that you'll start playing one way, and then another way will show itself, and you're like, oh, that's really fun.
I need to try it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that, or I'm gonna try this, or I'm gonna do that, or would this be super helpful? And so there's always things to keep you occupied and keep your mind kind of tingling, and things to do, because there's just so much to do. That there's guys in this game that are just literally building cool stuff. And that's fun. That's fun. Like, it's not like the main mechanic, but like it's the mechanic that's keeping people playing it over and over and over and over.
Well, I think that would kind of stress me out. I thought about it, and the idea of saving like your best handheld weapon for later. I feel like that would really stress me. No, you don't feel that at all.
No. Because like you don't, like you use you use these things, and like there'll be times where you think to yourself, hey, I'm gonna, and this is people just playing it the way that they're playing it, but don't sit there and be like, ooh, this weapon I'm going to keep. I'm going to save it, and this is going to only be used for special times, where you have maybe one or so of that, but like you'll go through so many things and find so many cool things that, and like different areas provide different opportunities. For instance, like this is really cool. Like I was on top of an ice dragon, and he's just flying through the sky. And I'm going around collecting like these spikes off of him, and I attached it to like a sword, and I created like this ice hammer. And then I went into this spot where there's a bunch of like fire enemies, and I was like one-shotting, because I was freezing fire guys, and I was just one-shotting a bunch of dudes, or really putting some heavy damage down. But like there's the same thing for when you're in the cold places, and you can pull out your fire weapon of some sorts, and you're doing the same thing, and it's just kind of fun. And they have all these other cool stuff, and it's just really fun. Like there's so much fun to do. This is just a really well made game all around. So my advice is.
So you would recommend you buy?
I would most definitely recommend. It's one of those games that I would say you should get a Switch for.
Ooh,
and
bold.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a console buying game. Yeah. Not too many of those out there.
Beau Island approves of Zelda.
Yeah, no.
Tears
Big
to
fan.
Tears to the Kingdom.
Tears of the
Tears of the Kingdom. You heard it here first, folks. We'll be right back.
Yeah, Peyton has an update for us on something.